Vignette number 1, Weldon at the Courthouse. Judges must be independent from influence. Judges must be impartial. Judges must act with integrity, honesty, fairness.
Why is it so important that a judge be independent? In vignette number 1, we learned that judges must be independent from influence. They must be impartial, and they must act with integrity. Weldon is worried that the judge in his criminal case will rely on what the city councilor said.
And make sure that you're punished for this. I'm on the town council. I can make you pay. And oh yes, I will be going to the press.
Or worse, what was in the papers. He's afraid that someone with way more influence than him will be able to persuade the judge against him.
Weldon meets his lawyer for his criminal case in a witness room outside the courtroom.
City councilor said I haven't a chance here. He looked rich. I mean, what chances do I really have here? I mean, look at me. I have no money, and what if he finds out that I'm gay?
I know you're worried about someone influencing the judge, Weldon. In Canada, judges do not talk to politicians about a case. They're not influenced by politicians or government officials, powerful business people in the community, for that matter, neighbors or friends. That would be unethical. Judges have a duty to maintain their independence. They make decisions based only on the facts of your case and the law.
I don't believe that. I saw the police officer talking to the politician.
Look, the judge must uphold the law no matter who comes before them. Judges will not permit anyone to influence their decisions. You have a right to expect this of a judge in Canada.
But the politician said he was going to the media.
No, the judge will not be influenced by the media. Fortunately for you, Weldon, in your case, there were no long-lasting or serious injuries. Now let's talk about the facts of your case. Remember, Weldon, you are prohibited from driving for 12 months. You're on probation. So you must follow all of the conditions listed on your probation order, complete a driver safety course, pay a fine, and they will check on you.
I know. That won't be easy, but it could have been worse.
You're right. The judge reminded you that you could have been charged with distracted driving as well. The fine would have been larger, and if there had been any serious injuries, you could have been given a jail term.
I was just really nervous about the news about me being on the cell phone when I was driving and I hit that woman. But like you said, I think the judge took everything in consideration. She considered that it was my first offense and that I came back to the crime scene right away.
Yeah, and that you had a clean driving record.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Vignette number 2, Family Court. The Supreme Court of Canada instructs judges to identify their own prejudices or biases and guard against allowing these to impact in any case. Judges must not be negatively influenced by their personal beliefs or biases. They must be impartial and independent. They must make sure parties have a fair hearing.
When the criminal charges were laid, Rosa's mother applied to the family court to reduce Weldon's contact with his child. Ashley wants the judge to order supervised access.
All rise.
Good morning. Thank you. You can be seated. This is the Roberts and Regan file. Mr. Roberts, you have a lawyer?
I had a lawyer for the criminal case, but I can't afford to have one here.
Ms. Regan, do you intend to have a lawyer?
No, Your Honor.
This is your application. Perhaps you could just indicate to the court what it is you'd like the court to do.
He was speeding and hit a woman in a crosswalk.
Would you mind standing, please, when you address the court? Thank you.
My child was in the back seat and could have been killed. He cannot be trusted to take care of my child. I want his access supervised. And I want an order that says he can't drive with my baby in the car.
I haven't got a chance here. I looked you up on the internet and I saw that you fought for women's rights. You're a woman, she's a woman, I want a different judge. Look, I'm a gay man with a partner, and I'm not gonna get a fair trial here, and I'm gonna lose my kid. Then I'll be forced to see my kid with somebody else all the time. I might as well just give up.
Mr. Roberts, I hear you raising several concerns. Please, just both of you sit down for a moment. First, you said that you're concerned because I'm a woman. And you're not the first person to raise that issue in this court. It's clear from looking around the courtroom that everyone here is a woman except for you and your partner, and I assume that you're Mr. Roberts' partner. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to know, first of all, that none of those things have anything to do with this case. As a judge, I took an oath that I would uphold the law, and I would apply the law only to the evidence that I heard and the facts that I determined after hearing that evidence. Each of you will have a chance to give your evidence and to call witnesses. The law says that I cannot make any decision or be influenced in any way by matters such as race, religion, gender, or sexual preference. The law tells me that I have to decide based on the evidence before me here in this courtroom. And according to the law, the only consideration for me today is the best interests of your child. That means I must hear from both you, Mr. Roberts, and Ms. Regan, and I'll also hear from your witnesses. You will have a chance to hear the evidence of each other and to cross-examine each other and to cross-examine your witnesses. I will only use the facts you both present in this courtroom and what your witnesses say in court. I will then apply the law to those facts as the basis for my decision. My job is to make sure this process is a fair one, and that's exactly what I intend to do today.
Vignette number 3. What can you expect of a Canadian judge?
Weldon was afraid, because of his criminal proceeding, he would lose his rights to his child. Let's see what happened.
Can't believe it. I can still see Rosa without being supervised. I mean, I can't really drive with her alone for a while. That'll cost me. But if I get a good report with my probation officer for completing the driver's course, it'll help me when I go back to court. You know, I think the judge really understands that Ashley and I love Rosa. She is making it mandatory for us to go and see a counselor so that we can talk about Rosa without fighting.
We can do this.
Weldon realized he'd made a mistake and was afraid he'd get all the blame and be the big loser. He was lucky that there were no long-term injuries. But the rule of law in the hands of an independent judge committed to the law and fairness resulted in a balanced solution most can accept.